You got it, Jim? There's
Yep.
probably something on the,
All right.
we'll have to figure out how to
Stop that from doing it.
cut this out. Because this is all,
Okay.
okay. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Um, so I'm going to start off this morning. You can get yourself ready, but can you all hear me? Raise your hand if you can. All right. Many of you have heard of the author Jane Kirkpatrick, and she is an Oregon writer. And those of you that are in my book club have read some of her books, and she is an absolute delight. So this comes from her newsletter as well. I shared Joyce Rupp's last week, and I promise I will send it to you all. But I will also send you Jane Kirkpatrick, the author, her newsletter, because this month she talks about being in a Shaker or a Lutheran congregation. And she said, the tune was to the Shaker hymn, "'Tis the gift to be simple. 'Tis a gift to be free." But the lyrics were to a song written in 1963 titled "The Lord of the Dance." And a lot of us remember that. Maybe it was that the writer Sidney Carter used the dance as a metaphor for the life of Jesus. Or maybe he knew that dance is a powerful message of hope and joy. Scriptural David knew as he danced before the Lord. Last week, the New York Times wrote about the power of dance to stay healthy and connected, even if we dance by ourselves. Baylor University, in its work with traumatized children, finds dance and other kinds of movement like woodworking, quilting, gardening, horseback riding, but dance especially is one of the most powerful ways of helping children stay in the present moment, a critical component of treating trauma. And then Jane goes on to tell a story of when she and her husband were in an airplane crash, I believe, and he had two broken ankles, broken ribs. She had a steel plate in her arm, something like that. And one night he looked at her and there was music playing in the background, and he said, "Come on, let's get up and dance." And she said, "Oh, I was afraid you were going to ask me that." So she wasn't sure, with the pain they were both experiencing, if it was the right thing to do. But she said through that, they danced for several moments. And she said, that is one of the greatest memory, is to continue to dance through your pain, allowing the joy to come within your life. Um, One of the greatest joys in her life involved dance and continuing to do that. So we do some dance movements in our yoga as well. And I know we get a little giddy when we do the grapevine, but I want you to remember and take that time um, to remember the joy in movement and in dance. One of her books that we recently read it was an Indian reservation, which she frequently writes about. And she said, I learned about the power of dancing to heal. One of the healers told me on the reservation that she would ask 3 questions of an ill person. The answers would tell her how far from health the person had fallen. When was the last time you danced? Number 2, when was the last time you sang? And number 3, when was the last time you told your story? And her wish for us through this message this month is, may you discover or rediscover the dance that He, Jesus, is willing to lead you to. this season and forever. So that's Jane Kirkpatrick. And I just really thought that that was poignant with the cantata yesterday, the singing that you gals and guys did, and the movement that we continue to do through the week. So thank you for being here. Let's close our eyes and take a deep breath and find that joy within us when we breathe. Take that inhale, pausing at the top, and exhale. And then find your own rhythm of about 3 to 4 breaths as you center in on this day after a busy weekend. Good. Okay, now let's start our cat-cow and really emphasize the breath in this. Exhaling, maybe in our cat, inhaling in our cow, moving that spine, not compressing that lower back. Maybe you overemphasize the breath in this to really feel how exhilarating that is when we breathe, allowing our spine to move, feeling the stretch in our neck, our shoulders. Then I'm going to have you raise your arms above your head, reaching forward from the top of your head all the way forward. And then let's try to make a side circle, coming back behind us as if we're doing the butterfly. I know I've done this before. Over our head, stretching up through our pelvis when we come up. Especially if you've been sitting a lot, if you have tension in your back. And then the next time you come to the top, let's stop at the top, reach out of the pelvis and reach over to the right. Feel that stretch in your side body, opening the hands. My hands are open like little stars to keep that opening. And then reach over to the left. Breathing as you do, feeling that stretch. I'm feeling it all the way up in my shoulder blade. Again to the right. Nice job. Breathing as you do. And again to the left. Just moving, flowing. Now let's bring our hands together in front and then open up as if we're opening like a ballerina and bring them together in front again. Open like that ballerina. Pretend you're on point shoes. You can maybe have your little tutu. I'm coming to the front again. Think of the nutcracker when you do this. Opening up. Nice job. Now I'm going to leave my right hand out and my left arm is going to come over as if I'm looking then to my right arm, feeling the stretch in my body, loving the tutu that I have on, and then bring that left hand down again. And then bring the right arm back up again. Look at your tutu. What color's your tutu if Dennis is listening? I don't think they're here today, but, and then opening up again. And again, bring that left arm up, lifting up from the pelvis, opening up. Nice job. And arm comes down again and then up again, reaching up and back down again. Okay, now this time we're going to keep our arms out to the side. Take your hands, they're dance hands, they're together now, they're not open, and my palms are going to be up. I'm not sure if this is a ballerina cue or not, but we're going to do it. And we're going to swivel back and forth from our side. Nice, as if we were teetering on our ballet shoes. Nice job. Okay, and then we're going to twist to the right, both hands, come around, looking to our other dance partners in their beautiful garb and then coming back to the front. And then twisting to the left. Nice job. And then coming back to the front again. Feel that. And then maybe wiggle your little tutu. And then back to the right again. And opening up. And then back to the left. Nice. So I want you, as we change positions, because we'll do that same thing when we're standing in a different motion. Hands can come down now. Nice job. So let's start our little marching. But this time with our marching, I want pointed toes when we come up, as if the ballerina is ready to do her little lift. Very graceful, and your arms can come up, dance hands. Nice job. And really feel the power. Your tummy is tight. You've worked so hard. Now let's do the opposite. Our toy soldier joins, our little nutcracker joins our ballerina. The sugar plum fairy. Nice. Good job. Okay. Now take your hands, both of them, move yourself back in the chair. Keep your hands on the chair. We're going to lean back a little bit, and I'm raising my both legs. I'm going to point my toes as if I have those beautiful ballerina shoes on, pink satin, and then nose and toes come together. So my toes are going to point back. I'm stretching the back of my calves. Nice job. And I'm sitting very strong in the chair. My tummy is tight. Point your ballerina toes again. Nice. And then flex those feet again, stretching out those calves. This time we're going to take and we're going to circle our feet. We're working our abdomen because we're using our breath. Holding on, tight tummy. And then switch the direction of our feet. Circling, circling, circling. Good. Now lower your toes to the ground and then come on the full foot. Let's take our block. Hopefully you have a block. And we're going to place that. And we're going to do our chair. Or you can pretend if you don't have your block. And I am going to push into that block. I'm going to ignite my hips and my glutes, and I'm going to bring my hands forward when I do this. And we're going to push into the block. We're going to stand up, raising our hands above our head, and then come back down. Bum goes to the back of the wall. So I'm coming in prayer. And let's twist to the right. Nice. Looking to see if anyone's coming. Center. Twist to the left. Feel that shoulder open. Center. Twist to the right. Breathing as you do. Tight tummy. Center. Twist to the left. Nice. And center again. And then arms behind us as if we're going to pretend to dive off a diving board and sit back without plopping. Nice job. Okay, this time let's take our block and set it aside. And we're going to pretend as if that block is between our knees. You're getting so much stronger and better at this. So rolling through that foot. Standing up, I'm engaging my thighs, pushing into that imaginary block and coming up with our arms. Nice job. Breathing, and then come back and sit halfway into that chair again. You can do whatever you want. I'm doing prayer hands. And then sit back into that chair. Nice job. Good. Now take your hands behind you, and we're going to do a bridge. So scoot forward in your chair a little bit. and open that chest, straightening the abdomen all the way. You don't have to lean your head very far back, but my arms are straight and I have a little triangle behind me. So it's as if we're doing a bridge. My bum is still on the chair, but it's working those upper abs, and then come back down, pushing up again, really strengthening that sternal area, the upper abs. You can lift up a little bit from the chair, maybe an inch or two, that's okay. You're tightening those glutes as you do that, and then come back forward. Good, little bit different move than we have. Okay, take your right ear to your right shoulder and really feel the stretch. Breathe through that. And then nose to shoulder, just gently rolling through. And ear to shoulder. And nose to shoulder, being gentle. You might feel those little crunches. That's okay. But I encourage you to do this anytime your neck feels that tension. It really does help. And if you visualize those muscles just releasing, relaxing, and I'm continuing to roll through nose to shoulder, and I'm going to stop at ear to shoulder, and I'm going to come to center and drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Nice deep breath. Breathing through, and then gently nose to shoulder. Really feeling the stretch, being gentle with yourself, ear to shoulder. And back again, nose to shoulder, rolling through at your own pace, allowing any tension that you might feel in that neck to dissipate, remembering your breath, remembering your tight core, but allowing that neck to just release. And then I'm going to end with ear to shoulder on the left and lift my head to center. Let's do some shoulder rolls. I'm going backward. Really overemphasize those. Breathing as you do. Allowing that circulation to be there. And then I'm going forward, looking kind of like a monkey with my arms. So that's not really a nice dance move, but oh well. Some crazy rock and roll dance, right? Okay, good. Now let's do the backstroke. Lifting up as you can. Doesn't have to come up over your head if it is too much for you. And then change to the freestyle. We're changing it up using our brain plasticity. Good job. We haven't done this for a while. So now we're going to go one arm forward and the other arm backwards. Kind of the wonky dance we do with that. And you can do it as slow as you choose, but really feel what that does to your abdomen, the sides of it, how strong you are, and then change direction. Push through that water. It's beautiful. Nice job. Okay. All right, let's take our bands if you have them. And this time I've got a pretty good amount of band right in front of me. I'm going to lift my arms and I'm not going to go backwards and jut my sternal bone out. I'm protecting my back, so I'm just as straight can be, protecting that back, strong core. And then move your arms back just a little bit. You'll feel a stretch there without arching your back, and then bring it forward. And then bring it back behind you. Not so it compresses your back, so it's just a really subtle movement. Back you go. It also forces us to keep our neck in neutral. You remember when we were trying to work on the dowager hump? This is a good one for that. Nice. My arms are just pulling with slight tension over my head. You can really work it if you want. Okay, now let's make our X. So I have a little slack there as well. Bringing my hands forward in front of me, making an X. Very slowly coming back. Making another X. Nice job. Making another X. Part of the X, I guess. And another one. And then let's move into our archer. So I'm going to have my left hand forward and my right arm is going to pull on the tension. I'm going to pull back. My elbow just grazes the side of my body and I look forward as if I'm ready to pull that bow and arrow. Breathing and then releasing. Nice job. Let's try it one more time. Pull the right arm back, keeping the tautness in that band with the left. Looking at our goal, focal point, and release. And then one more time, pulling back, breathing as we do. What is that doing to your upper abdomen? Feel the tightness and tension in your core and release. Nice. Now my right arm or hand is coming forward. My left arm is going to pull back, elbow grazing along the edge of my upper abdomen. Holding, noticing the focus point and coming back. Nice. And then pulling again. Allow the tension in your neck to just let go. Sometimes I have to circle my neck so I don't hold it there. And then come back forward. And one third time, pulling back with the elbow against my arm. Noticing the focal point in front of us, strong arms, strong core, and releasing. Nice job. Okay, you can ditch the bands for now, and we're going to come back. We're going to stand up again through our chair, and we'll walk to the back of our chair. So pushing knees together, strong chair, rising up, and walking to the back of our chair. So I'm going to put mine at an angle. Let's do our Barbie and Ken toes. So up on our toes and then rolling through that foot, back up on our heels, up on our toes. I'm kind of moving through this. It's what the ballerinas do, stretching out those calves, moving through their feet. Up and down, strong core as we do this. And then step your right foot back behind you, straight leg. Good. Equal weight on both legs. My left knee is bent. I'm going to push off the chair and rise up. Arms up in the air. Nice. And then hands back to the chair. Let's come into downward dog. So we're gonna step our left foot back equal with our right and releasing, relaxing. Knees can be bent. Nice job. And then step your right foot forward. So my right foot is bent. My left back leg is straight. Rise up, arms up again. Nice job. Hands to the chair again. Let's go into our downward dog. So we're stepping our right foot back with the left. Really allowing that stretch through the shoulders. Nice job. Now let's pull our right arm out to the side and do our thread the needle. Threading it under that left arm. Working through that. Do it about 6 to 8 times, releasing that shoulder. Nice job. And hand to the chair, bring the left arm out and thread that needle. About 6 to 8 times. Really tight core when you do this, allowing the flow of that shoulder. Nice job. Couple more times. Good job. Okay, this time I'm going to be to the side. We're going to do our grapevine. We're going to do our dance moves. So coming out with our cactus, we're going to step, I'm going to the right. So I'll go opposite you, ladies. So we're going to cross our arms, step our right foot out, uncross our arms, left foot comes behind, cross our arms. I'm just going to talk you through this. Uncross our legs, and then back the other way. So if you've crossed in front, cross behind with your arms and change that up as you move. Do it about 3 times. Many of you have said it's so much easier, and I'm going to move my chair, when you do it faster. It looks more graceful too, doesn't it? Nice job. So those are our dance moves. Dance then wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he. Nice job. Good. Okay, let's stop with our goddess or our grapevine. Come into our goddess. So we have legs out at a 45-degree angle, cactus arms. Hold our tummy in. We're going to turn to our left. Feeling that in our shoulder. And center. And right. And center. And left. And center. And right. And center. Then take your arms, reach up to the right. And back down into cactus, up to the left, and back down into cactus, up to the right, back down into cactus, up to the left, and back down into cactus. Nice. Okay, this time, if you want to use your chair, I'm going to add a little something. It's a bit of a balance, but it's a bit of a dance move too. We're going to take our left elbow to our right knee. So doing this, and then our right elbow to our left knee. You can do hands if you want. I'll make it easy. How's that? Don't kill me yet. So do left hand to right knee, right hand to left knee. I know I'm making you work. We're dancing. So do the opposite. So you're coming across, you're using your abdomen in a different way. And you can put your hand on the chair if you want to with the other, when you bring that up, if that's helpful. As if we're doing a little dance kick. How's that? Okay, enough of that. Thank you for putting up with my craziness. Okay, now let's come through, hands both on the back of the chair. We're gonna do our sun salutation. So standing up with hands above our arms, placing the hands on the chair, stepping the right foot back, the left foot back, downward dog. You can bend those knees if you'd like, pressing forward into the chair. Plank, feeling the stretch, breathing. Nice job. And then back down into downward dog. Pressing forward again through plank. Tight tummy, tight angle, like an arrow. You can come up on your tippy toes like the ballerina if you'd like, or just slightly, and then pressing back into downward dog again. Nice job. Step the left foot forward. Keep the left hand on the chair. Bring your right arm back behind you and open up. Good. Now take your right hand, palm up, and lift that to the sky. Nice job, as if we're reaching for the stars. Nice. And back down behind you. Roll that right arm through and touch the chair. We're going to bring our left foot back behind us, equal to the right foot. This time the right foot is going to step, and my back's going to be toward you, but the right foot is forward. My left foot is going to open up to the side and come back behind me. My hand's still on the chair, looking out to the side. Left palm up, open up to the sky. Feel the stretch in that side body. Nice job. Bring the left arm down and around again to the chair and step the right foot back. How are you doing with that? Nice job. Okay, good job. All right, I'm going to do one more, and this is our bird dog. So we're going to step the left foot forward. The right foot is going to come back behind us just a little bit. We're going to keep both hands on the chair. We're going to lean into the chair a little bit. My left leg is going to straighten, and I'm going to bring my right foot back behind me, and I'm going to lift my left arm. My right hand is still on the chair, doesn't have to come up very high. Make sure your pelvis is heading toward the chair. It's not opening up to the side like this. Strong core. Nice job. And then bring that hand down to the chair. The right foot steps forward. Left foot steps back a little. Am I going too fast? Lift the left foot behind you, leaning into the chair. Right arm comes out in front of you. Strong right leg. Nice job. Right hand comes back to the chair and left hand comes back. And let's find our place on the chair. You have worked hard. Nice job. Okay, so arms up, palms facing up. Let's do some little circles as if we're twirling around, and then change the direction. Nice job. And then take those arms, touch your fingertips to your head. Nice job. And then come back out. And then bring them over your head about 8 to 10 inches, as if we're being our little ballerinas again. And then back out to the side, very gracefully. Touch them to our head. Bring them out to the side. Touch them over our head. Nice job. And opening up again. Now, with our palms up, look to your left. Feel the stretch in that neck, a little bit different than what we did at the beginning. Come to center with your head. Look to the right. You feel the difference when our arms are extended. Breathing. And center again, and lower those arms gracefully. Nice job. Okay, this time we're gonna do just a little love for our legs. We're gonna do some lymphatic like we have done before. Let's start, if you're able, I use finger claws down on my calves and pulling up. Can you see me? I'm just kind of starting at the ankles, pulling up gently. It feels really nice. It's good for the lymphatic system. Good time of year to do lymphatic work. As if I'm kind of painting something on it. Then come around the knees and do some circles on the knees in front. And then you can scoot forward on the chair and in back. That's a really important area in the back of our knee as well. And then come to the front of the thigh and do the painting again, as if we have a lovely silver paint or something. We're painting our thighs. Nice job. And then take your hands palm down like a dancer hand. You can come forward, put them in the space of your groin. Those are where our lymph nodes are. And alternately press on that. Pressing. So what we just did is we brought the lymph up from our ankles, up to our knees, up through our thighs, and we're bringing it into our area that it drains. Lots of inguinal nodes there. Nice job. Okay, now take your hands towards your back and rub in a circle on those kidney areas. So I'm combining lymphatic with Qigong. This is our gate of energy. Should feel pretty good. Nice job. And then take your hands together and then rub them. We've done this before where we're gathering chi round in a circle, and you may feel the heat. You may feel the heat that comes from the friction that we create. And then again, before I told you, some people like to put your hands then on your lungs. Some people love to put their hands on their face. Wherever you choose to. I'm going to on my lungs just to keep myself healthy and be grateful. And we can end with our thymus tapping. So if you want to do both sides, that's fine as well. Our joy point, we usually start with it. We're ending with it because we danced throughout this day of movement. And again, I'm going to go back to Joyce Rupp, reminding us that we are a tapestry. Our life through Advent can be a tapestry. And how are your stitches coming with that tapestry? Have you been giving gifts of kindness to others? Gifts of joy, not only to others, but perhaps ourselves as well. It can be a lonely time for others. Reach out. Send love, send joy. And as we finish our thymus tapping, you can take your right arm and place it out in front of you. And let's take our left hand and pull back on the fingers ever so gently, stretching that. Breathing through that. I've been listening to nursery rhyme music. I'm kind of still rocking, if you can see me. A whole day of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star and Schumann's sonatas for babies. Okay, now do our wrist, nudge that wrist, downward fingertips, allowing stretch. Really stretching that fascia, maybe grabbing that thumb this time on the downward motion and massaging that thumb. Especially if you've been cooking or making cookies, doing some extra things around. Nice job. And then I'm going to add a little something on my forearm on this side. It's kind of like what we learned as kids, the snake bite, only I want it to be gentle. A gentle twisting, if you can see, and just take your palm and run up and down. I'm going to start at the wrist and move up. It should feel good, not hurt like those snake bites we did. And then move it up into that elbow and give that a little love. And then up into the upper arm, just moving up into the deltoid, that upper muscle that attaches to our shoulder. Nice job. Good. And then brush it off like we do with Garuda Mudra. And take your left fingers, put those up and stretch that. Sometimes I don't realize how tight it is until I do this. And breathe into that, pulling back with our right fingers, allowing those flexor muscles to release. And then fingers down and give that wrist a little nudge, a little wrist gap, massaging, if you will. And then I'm going to kind of work down that to my thumb again, pointing face down, fingers down. Nice job. And then take your open palm and start at the wrist and just gentle twisting is what it is. It's a fascial move for the fascial tissue. It's almost tingly. I don't know about you, but mine is almost tingly when I do it. It feels really nice. Getting the circulation going, releasing some tension maybe in my forearms, all the way up to the elbow, and then circles on the elbow. And when you're ready, you can kind of walk that hand up the biceps, triceps, deltoid, all those muscles we use so much and will be using in the new year with our weights that we're going to work on. Okay, and then brush those arms off like we do Garuda Mudra. Nice job. And then let's do some Qigong hands, just releasing, relaxing, allowing energy to flow. Hopefully that has allowed some looseness in your arms and upper body where maybe tension was held. Good. Okay, now I want you to sit back in your chair. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to just kind of jiggle our knees back and forth. Feeling really good. It's hard to do Qigong feet, believe me. You have to really work at it. You almost need somebody holding it. But if you want to flap your feet like Georgia and I do and wave at each other with your feet, you can do that. Just moving those ankles around. And let's do our inversion where we turn our knees come together, toes, big toe to the floor, and then turn them over, eversion. So the outside of the foot comes to the floor. And work that gently back and forth. So I'm moving from inversion, shouldn't hurt. Just hold it for a second or two, and then moving it out, eversion. Nice job. And then circle those feet again. Boy, my ankles, I'm really feeling the clicking today. Back and forth. Do them like a windshield wiper. My feet are going back and forth like a windshield wiper. Dorsiflex, making little windshield wipers, and then put those feet down on the ground. Okay. How many of you have a ball that you can bring out? I'm sorry I didn't say that at the beginning. If you've got your ball, we're going to do just a quick little release on our foot. And taking that ball up at the top of the foot, I can wait for a little bit. Take your ball. If you need to put it in a sock, remember that trick so it doesn't fly across the room. Mine just fell across the room. And we're just I'm starting with my right foot, and I'm just gonna do big circles on my foot. I'm not gonna follow a pattern. My ball is going all over, ladies. So I'm going to pretend like I have the ball under my foot and doing big circles underneath, allowing that flow with our dancer's foot, taking care of our feet, rolling the ball under our foot with big movements all the way around. And then if you're turning your ankle a certain way or your foot is going in one direction, turn it the other way. So it should feel really good, especially when we've worn those heavy boots, heavy shoes this time of year. Just feels really good on our feet. And then transfer that ball to the other foot and start with just some gentle big circles up at the top, moving around, releasing that fascial tissue. You're going through all your reflexology points. I gave massages to the babies the other day and they both fell asleep. It was 5:30 in the morning and they wouldn't calm down. And I thought, oh, what the heck? We'll see if it works. Out. It was so funny. It was very cute. Okay, so you're moving around, maybe switch the direction you go with your foot. You're working your abdomen. You don't even realize it when you're doing this. And your thighs. Okay, about 30 seconds more, just back and forth, really feeling good this time of year. Okay. All right, let's take our ball and we're going to place it in our hands. And I'm going to, fingertips are up. I don't know if you can see me. I'm putting it in my palm and I'm going to push my palm into the ball very gently. It doesn't have to be hard. Feeling the pressure on the inside of that palm. As if we're doing prayer, but our fingers aren't quite coming together. And then twist to the right and come to center. And then push in the ball, twist to the left and come to center. And then take the ball, put it in your right hand and toss it up and catch it with the left. and take it in your left and toss it up and catch it with your right. So a little eye-hand coordination there. So do one more toss. It doesn't have to be high, but to the opposite hand. We forget how hard that is sometimes, but we're working our brain plasticity when we do that. So I'm trying to challenge you still. Okay, so you can hold the ball and close your eyes at this point. And we're going to end with dance then wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he. Think of that music. I know you know the tune. Let it be in your head. Let it carry you through this time of joy and wonder. And keep moving. Take the joy, take the hope. Remember the things that we have talked about. I'll keep adding in the days ahead as we go, but you can do this on your own as well. So namaste. May the light in me greet the light in you. Thank you so much for coming. And have a wonderful, wonderful week, ladies. Thanks for showing up. Come close.
Are you gonna end the recording? End the recording.
Yeah, I can stop. I'll stop recording, yes.